Hey everybody, it's Jim and Debbie. So somebody new on the channel.
Exciting.
Exciting, right?
So exciting.
Okay. So what we're talking about today is we're talking about flooding, okay? It's basically the risks of buying property in the flood zones. And the reason why I picked Deb to be on the channel, not only is she a realtor, but she got flooded. And not any old flood.
Yeah.
The last hurricane. Why don't you give a quick rundown on what happened?
Yeah. So for Hurricane Helene, it was a slow-moving storm. We evacuated for all hurricanes as it was mandatory because we're in Paso Grill, which is the barrier islands in South St. Pete Beach. We're right at the end. So we are in a flood zone with the underlying V. I mean, that's like the flood zone of all flood zones. So we didn't evacuate, which because there was a lot of elements to why we didn't. Anyways, we ended up staying. We knew that our neighbor's house has an upstairs, downstairs, and have never flooded before, 50 years. So we stayed next door, but about 5 o'clock in the afternoon, the water breached the Gulf of Mexico and the Intracoastal and was coming to meet together in front of my house and my neighbor's house.
And where were you during that time?
My house is on 14th Ave. I was right next door.
So you were watching this whole thing in real time?
But then we had to exit that house. The water started rising and rising and rising. And right before that, I put a rope. I put a rope up on the second floor in case we had to climb out. Yeah. So we had taken a lot of our items over there, and all of a sudden I looked out the window. I was like, we have to go right now. And I knew my friends were on the corner who have a new build. 14 feet up is the first floor, 28 feet is the second floor, all brand new block, high, stilted, with garage underneath. So we ended up grabbing all of our items, which was one bag, the dog, 2 bottles of wine, very important.
Yep.
And we could barely get down the street to get to them.
So you were wading through water?
My shoes went flying. Christy almost fell. The water was rushing. It was like swirling because they all met together. It was coming through the alleys, and it wasn't even high tide yet. We were 10 hours from high tide.
Oh my God.
And the boys came out of their house trying to get us, and they couldn't. They couldn't get to us. They were just like, come on.
They could see you, but they couldn't get to you.
Exactly.
So that was a dangerous situation.
It was actually, I know we're late, but it was an extremely dangerous situation. I mean, I get it now when I see people like on their roof, like asking for the helicopter to come, and you're thinking.
But what did you learn from that lesson? Because the reason why I'm saying, what did you learn from it? Because you basically kind of want to live back in that spot.
So I do want to live back. And we have had some water situations before. Now, I live in a 1925 bungalow, so it's ground floor. It's like, it's built on like a tree stump. No joke.
Yeah, you did a lot of Facebook. So how could they find you on Facebook?
So it's Debbie Salzberg, Saltzberg, and you could not get to the barrier island, so there's no news people there. So I did a lot of videos on my page, but also the Paso Grill page. So Paso Grill has a Facebook page, so I do a lot of the content. So I was doing live videos throughout the whole storm, but then we lost electricity, and then the phones died. So after that night, I could only do the aftermath once I got power back on the island, another island. Long story, but anyways.
So a lot of your neighbors now, are they gone? Or do they want to rebuild? What's going on there?
So this is what's going on in Paso Grill and St. Pete Beach and a lot of the beaches. If you go up now as a tourist and you drive, or a visitor, and you drive around, it might look normal. But the reality is a lot of those homes are called substantially damaged. 100% substantially damaged, which means that they are tear downs. So they have to be torn down and built back up to FEMA code, which is go by FEMA variance, which is a certain footage for your first floor based upon your base flood level. So you might have to be 14 feet, you might have to be 11 feet, just depends on where you're building from.
Right.
So we have to tear down. I'll show you the inside. We have everything out on the streets, which is kind of scary because it's going to be like a projectile missile. So everything's out. You see the floors. Yeah, we got everything out. That refrigerator. So I don't know if you can see. I can't really walk on the floors, but I think it'll be okay. I don't want to fall through. But yeah, this is what our house looks like now. Yeah, crazy, huh? I don't know if you could see that, but it's pretty crazy. I know, right? Just wow. Wow, 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 wow.
So you basically lost your
We
whole
lost
house.
everything.
You lost everything.
Contents, everything. The refrigerator was upside down on the other side of the house. The couches that are really heavy that are locked together were pushed up. The pool table weighs, 800 pounds? It was like child's play. It was down in the driveway.
What do you think long term is going to happen to that area? Like prices, people selling the houses as is, where is, they're collecting their insurance and getting out. What do you think is going to be like 5 years from now? What do you think is happening?
Okay, this is what I think, and this is personally what I think. So right now, there are a lot of buyers. You guys have choices. Buyers have so many choices right now between Paso Grill, St. Pete Beach, Madeira Beach, Isle of Capri. It could be on the water, not on the water, still in a flood zone. So the prices, the fire sales have already happened.
Okay.
Where the door knockers, the notes in mailboxes, here, I'll take this off your hands for, X amount of dollars.
Sure.
Happy homeowner, sort, not happy, but they're out. They're 80 years old. They don't want to go through this anymore. They might not owe anything in the house. They're getting insurance money, so that's done. Those are done. So the door knockers, from what I've seen, have already gotten their pie. Now the next one, sorry, I don't want to be too sexy on your video. So the next phase now are the people that realize that it's going to be another year or two to build out your house. Do we want to live in a flood zone? Those are on the market now.
So here's the deal, okay? So there's people, that watch this channel from all over the country, including Canada and stuff, and they reach out all the time saying, hey, what's the risks of buying in a flood zone? Because when you're moving to Florida, one of the biggest things that people want to do is they want to live on the water.
Absolutely.
That's why
we're here.
That's why I moved here, to live on the water. Yes, I have this house, but like I showed you guys, I'm building the other house, but it's right on the water, but that's 18 feet up in the air. But there's risks to it. There's costs to living on the water.
There are costs and there's risks. So what we did is we have our Paso Grill house, haven't sold it. We have to level it and rebuild it. We also, in the meanwhile, didn't know what to do, where to go. So we found a house right down the street that didn't flood. So we bought a second house. Mm-hmm. So I have two houses in the flood zone, barrier islands. I'm staying.
Okay, you're staying. How about other people? Are they staying, what do you say, 50-50?
I see the people that live, okay, because I have a lot of listings, and a lot of those people are moving inland. They're like, we're done. But the neighbors of those people, just on one street, say there's 25 houses, I'm thinking this one listing I have, 2 people are moving, everybody else is staying, they're rebuilding.
Well, here's my opinion about, because I got flooded too up in Hudson over there, and I think the prices right now are like still fire sale. People are selling them as it is.
I was going to say that. I was going to say about deals you can get right now.
Yeah, there's still deals out there.
Great deals
but
right now.
I took some properties off the market because what I think is going to happen is those are going to be knocked down.
Yep.
Then they're going to build $1 million houses.
Multi-million.
Yeah, multi-million-dollar houses.
Yep.
And I think my value of my land or whatever I'm doing is going to go up.
Exactly. That's why I'm not selling my land either.
Yeah. So if you're willing to wait, 3-5 years?
I'd say 2 to 4. I think you can have a better understanding. It depends. So what we're looking at is how fast are these people going to be able to build? When can they knock these houses down and start rebuilding with the permitting and all that? If we can get it going and within starting having houses being built and then even put on the market again, it'll be 1.5 to 2 years, and then 2 to 4. I think five is definite, but I think sooner.
But here's some catches, okay, to building on the water. Obviously, the draw is the water. Okay, you're a boater, I'm a boater, we're out on the water all the time.
Yep.
If Florida wasn't surrounded by water, living near water, I probably wouldn't live in Florida.
Exactly. No, it's right. No, that's why we're here. The warm water, the Gulf of Mexico, it's freaking gorgeous.
But you're going to have higher insurance costs. True or false?
True.
You have increased risk of property damage.
Very, very true.
So even if you're on a stilt house, you want to make sure it's the proper stilts.
It's proper stilts, and you can't forget about landscaping. I have redone my landscaping so many times. So obviously you want drought tolerant, zero-scaped yard. I just spent like a couple grand again, making it all pretty. So obviously native plants next time, things like that.
You learned a lot from this one.
I did.
See, this is a list that I came up with from what people talk about, and I don't agree with everything. Here's one of them I don't agree with. Loss of property value. Homes in flood-prone areas often lose value over time, making resale difficult. I don't think that's true.
I don't think that's true.
Okay? And some people are talking about it, and the reason why I'm bringing it up, actually, if you look at the historical data of homes for sale on the water, they've just been going up, up, and up.
100% up.
There's always going to be a buyer, for waterfront properties.
Always. And even saying that, it's waterfront, but there's also the water access. What I mean by that is my house that flooded it's not right on the water, but we're at steps to the beach.
Now, do you find is it more difficult right now to sell houses flood prone? Like when you have buyers coming, are they saying, hey, is this house in a flood zone? So
I'm super duper transparent just in the listing because I don't want to get that far. It's like flood insurance required. And if the house did have water, some type of water intrusion, that's not clear, because a lot of homes right now are as is with the drywalls out. Mm-hmm. So there's those. I mean, you can go into these certain neighborhoods, and man, those prices are like I'm looking at houses to buy there, and I don't know if I should buy another house in a flood zone. That would be like all eggs in one basket.
I'm looking to buy waterfront properties.
If you are, then we've been looking because I've been seeing so many homes, and I know it's like killer deals. Killer deals.
I have people from New York coming down, Jersey, Connecticut.
Markets, yeah.
They're coming down, and they're like, hey, this isn't a flood zone. They're like, hey, I'm 18 feet up in the air. The way I look at it, like my house there, it's literally 18 feet up in the air. So if I got flooded at 18 feet, we have bigger problems.
We have bigger, yes. and further in problem, because that's title.
That's the whole thing.
Yeah.
So higher maintenance costs and repair costs. Yes, living on the water could have higher maintenance costs.
It does. It might wear on things a little bit more.
What about this one? Limited financing options. Some mortgage lenders may be hesitant to finance properties in high-risk flood zones.
So far, I've not experienced that. What we do have to experience, though, is that the insurance agent that you're using, you have to be with an insurance agent that knows what they're doing, that can get it done. Because we just bought that house. There is a thing, though, like if you're going to purchase a house and you're in the middle, and you are you have a loan for your insurance, you need home insurance or flood insurance and all that. If there's a hurricane even forecasted, not hitting, forecasted,
they're not going to
shuts down.
Yeah, it shuts down. You can't insure.
You can't close, yeah.
You can't close. So this one is true. Stricter building codes and regulations, many flood-prone areas. Now FEMA came in. See, like the county sometimes gets overruled by FEMA.
Yep.
Okay, and they have to listen to FEMA. So, like, people are getting mad at the county, like they get mad at Pasco County or Pinellas County, but it's not the county. FEMA is saying, hey, if you want our help and you want our money to help rebuild, this is what we want on the houses. So, And
then if one person keeps flooding because they haven't done anything to mitigate, and we're paying them all this money, and you've done all this work, is that fair? I mean, there's that.
So there is going to be, like, this house, even this house we're about 5-6 miles away from the water, this house requires impact windows because I'm in the wind zone.
Yeah.
The house in Hudson, impact windows and metal roof.
Okay.
Okay, so there's different restrictions,
Yep.
Some insurance companies, here's another risk, okay? Some insurance companies just don't want to insure. If a house has been flooded, it's been a ranch.
That's true. I mean, it's true. The thing that I think that still we haven't navigated 100% is a lot of people that what's happening is when you're coming in and you're purchasing a lot of these homes as is, it's cash.
Yeah.
So they're not going through the process of requiring insurance to close, so they'll deal with it later kind of thing. And so a lot maybe hasn't come to the surface yet on that question maybe.
What about this one? Mandatory flood insurance. If you, I mean,
even no flood zone, you have to now.
Yeah, a lot of people are going what's called bare. Like, okay, I'm going to self-insure. I know so many people at waterfront that they're just self-insuring.
Yep, exactly. Yep.
Because it did get,
And is FEMA really? I mean, the process we've had to gone through in order to get any insurance claim is another 10 videos.
Okay, here's a risk on buying in a flood zone, okay? And we're going to do positives and negatives, but we really have to explain this. Disruptions in daily life. Like if there's a storm, even if you're in a stilt house, the chances are you're going to lose power and you're going to
water.
And you still have to evacuate. You still have to move your cars. You lost a couple of cars in a couple of floods.
I'm on my third car now. I know, but they still insure me, so I'm okay. If we had lost this third car, I think they would. I don't know what would.
You learned your lesson on that one.
I had to take 2 times.
Your property taxes are going to be a little bit higher on the water.
Yeah, taxes are definitely higher in the water. That's the thing you have to remember too is taxes.
Like we talked about power outages. you know, depending on where you are, you have to look at erosion and land instability. So like Paso Grill.
Paso Grill. Or Vina.
Yeah.
Sand.
Yeah.
Vina's, yeah.
So you really got to take that into consideration.
Yep.
You know, so let me ask you a question. I can keep going down this list, but at the end of the day, I always said in my other videos that the only people that are going to be able to afford to live on the water are people with money.
But when we say that, that's like
What's the rest? What's considered a lot?
Lot. Like, because that means you're going to be able to be buying, especially on the beaches, you know, $3-4 million home in plus. Like, that's your min to get in, $3 or $4 million, and it's your second home. So that's what I'm saying. That's not even your primary, maybe.
Right, because see, in Hudson, which is north, which is like nothing like Paso Grill, but in Hudson there was like multi-generation families living in these ranches.
It was hard. That was hard.
Now these ranches are over the 50% rule that we talked about, so now they have to be destroyed. Now investors came in, like just on my block, and I'll take you up there. So the investors bought 4 of the flooded homes, and they don't even care what it looks like. They just bought it for the land.
Yeah, exactly.
They're knocking them down. Okay, they bought them for like what, $250,000 because it's just land value, $300,000, and some of these houses they already started building some. They're looking for $2 million for these things.
Yeah, and that's up here. So what I'm saying is, Paso Grill and St. Pete Beach has a little bit of a higher price tag. I have a waterfront property right now, which is it's actually waterfront, not water view, it's waterfront on the Intracoastal in Paso Grill. And just the land, I mean, it's 1.85 million.
Yeah.
And then you have to build.
But do you think that the everyday person like me, the only reason I could even afford to build there is I bought that land a while ago.
Yeah, it's same with my Paso Grill house.
Yeah.
If I came in,
if you wanted to buy it now,
that's why we bought the second house in the flood zone, because if we had left and for some reason we couldn't rebuild, we would get priced out of Paso Grill.
So who do you think, what's the advice for somebody saying, hey, you know what, I want to live on the water? What's your advice as a realtor to say, okay, there's pitfalls, but there's benefits. The big benefit is you're on the water, especially if you're a boater.
I'm a realtor. I love waterfront property. I moved here to be on the water or right next to the water. So I'm a little bit, I love it. So I think you just have to understand that any place in the world, in the country right now has issues. I moved from California.
Yeah.
The fires. I moved from Santa Monica and Malibu. That's where the fires were. Mm-hmm. We got evacuation alerts on our phone. And then up in New England, I mean, who knows what's going to happen? They're in an earthquake fault. I don't want there to be an earthquake, but you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, there's no perfect place. There's no perfect place.
So if there's no perfect place, I'm going to live what I want to live, and I want to live on the water, and I'm going to accept the risks, and that's just what I'm going to do.
That's what I'm doing. You know, I'm accepting the risk. I know when the hurricane comes, but at the same time, I take hurricanes seriously.
Yeah, you'll leave. I did the second one, but we couldn't get out. It was a long story, but anyways.
But at the same time, you know, if you're going to go, not every waterfront area is equal.
True.
Okay, so you really have to. Here's my advice: whether you use Deb, whether you use your realtor or anybody.
I can definitely help, though.
Yeah, but you really need to pick somebody that understands waterfront properties.
Yep.
Just because somebody, you know, including home inspections, you know, if they're a different animal.
They are a different animal. So like I said, I have listings all in St. Pete Beach. And a lot of the reasons why I've been the listing agent is because I understand the risk, because I understand waterfront living. I understand you losing everything, but like the benefits are still there, but the risks. And definitely moving your car when they say it's going to flood.
Well, a lot of people may have questions for you. How do they reach you? What's the best way to reach you? I'll put the information below.
Okay, yeah, definitely put it. So I'm Debbie Salzberg. Great way is direct, which is my phone number.
Okay. I'll post it below.
Okay. Yeah, and then my Facebook is Debbie Salzberg. Instagram handle is @debbie.salzbergrealtor. No, actually, sorry, it's @saydebbie.realtor. And, you know, email is always good. I'm with Compass.
And you can message it and I'll reach out to her and stuff like that. But yeah, a lot of benefits. The biggest benefits of living on the water is boating, fishing.
I will tell you, it's paradise.
It's paradise.
And this is somebody who lost everything.
You know what, I always say in the videos, you know, like, you know, pros and cons of Florida, everybody thinks it's going to be one constant vacation. And I always say it's not going to be. Once you move here, you get desensitized and it's just everyday life. But if you're living right on the water, that doesn't really hold true because you watch your boat and you're just out in the water.
It's so good.
And it's good. Like, it's funny. I was out in the water just yesterday and stuff, and then you sent me a picture saying, "Yeah, I'm on the water too."
It's like, I mean, it's February.
It's February.
I know. There's nothing. I can't compare. It makes me so happy.
But at the end of the day, there is risks of living in the water, and that's the way it is. So, anyways, that's today's video. Do me a favor, consider subscribing. It really helps out the channel. Let us know if you have any questions about living on the water, and we'll make sure that all those questions are answered, and we'll talk to you in the next one. Thanks, Deb.
Thank you so much.
For being here, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.